The condo crisis is impacting owners across the financial spectrum, and it's really one of the issues that we hear most about from our viewers. The latest development in a Miami condo lawsuit could have statewide implications for the condo market. Take a look. Laws tightening building inspections after the Surfside condominium collapse in 2021. Significant assessments from condo associations to fund required mitigation. Traditional lenders shying away from condo financing, and property insurance rates rising after last year's hurricanes. Like a perfect storm, these factors are battering Florida's condo market all at once. And now, a court ruling by the state's 3rd District Court of Appeals may freeze redevelopment efforts of older condo complexes. The court case centers on a 13-story condo building in Miami called Biscayne 21. The appeals court ruled in favor of 8 condo unit owners who'd refused to sell to the developer, Two Roads. Of the 191 condo units, the owners of 181 did sell to the tune of $150 million. The appeals court refusal for a rehearing leaves in place the lower court ruling against Two Roads and its developer-led amendment to the condo association's governing documents, which eventually led to the termination of the condo association. It's a case with possible statewide implications. Condo associations in Florida are governed by the Florida Condominium Act in state statutes. Enacted in 1963, the statute was among the first of its kind in the U.S. And Wendy, I'd like to start with you. What are you seeing in the Tampa Bay condo market? Are they selling?
Well, it's true that they are selling for less this year than they were last year. The interesting thing I think about condos, historically, they've always had their challenges, more so than our more dominant market of single-family home sales. They've always had their challenges, and part of that is going to be largely because of their assessments each month. It's going to be mostly financial. So most of the assessments now are about $1,000 a month minimum. Sometimes they're a little less, sometimes they're a lot more, but we're seeing those assessments along with property taxes, insurance, and upkeep of some of the older buildings certainly affect people who want to get into condo ownership. I think condo owners enjoy amenities that you don't get somewhere else. You might have a swimming pool, you might have a tennis court, you might have a gym or a clubhouse. So I think somebody has to really weigh those trade-offs if you want to get into condo ownership.
Is it becoming more difficult for condo owners to sell their units, and what are some of the questions that they're being asked by these potential buyers?
It is more difficult for them to sell. It's always been a challenge again for them to be able to sell and for somebody to buy, because the financing that you mentioned in your story is very, sometimes it can stop the ball going down the field. It really can make a difference. So it's more difficult maybe when the market has more out there and more for sale and more to choose from, for sure. You see that some people who bought in the past few years are really having a hard time selling now if they don't have enough equity in those properties.
Jacob, so many people are following this story. You have the condo unit owners who sell and want this to move forward, and you have other unit owners who don't want to move forward with termination. When you look at all of this, how does this play out in the reporting, what you're seeing in the Tampa Bay area?
Well, I think a lot of the barriers to people buying condos is very similar with home ownership, and it's happening all across the state right now. And I think what sticks out to me the most about that is that we've had multiple special sessions this year. One of the longest legislative sessions in recent memory, and yet this is not something that has been fixed, right? This is not something that was made a priority. I think we've seen a lot of red meat issues going out. We've seen a lot of Republican infighting, and I think I think it's very important that that this affordable housing crisis is handled, and I think that's something that people might want to talk to their state representatives about.
And on the other side of the argument are voters who say that it was the legislators who created this crisis with their reaction to the Surfside building collapse. When you look at the issues, what do you see as the most important areas where voters can get some action? You said that they should call their state representatives. Like, what are some of the things
Well,
that they could
a
do?
lot of this has already been like they've already made these calls, right? They've already made a lot of these efforts, and a lot of legislators were asking for a special session. I believe it was in 2024 to address this issue, but the governor didn't do it. And then what we saw is in January we had 2 legislative sessions on immigration, and we saw how that became a priority of this administration, the DeSantis administration, and not fixing this condo crisis. So I can't speak to what their calculus in doing that was, but I can just say that it happened.
Daryl, the developer, Two Roads, the developer in this Miami case, has said that they will take this to the Florida Supreme Court. They feel that this is a case that has statewide implications. Then you have on the other side folks who are saying, no, we should look at this and interpret it as narrowly focused on what the developer did in terms of the governing documents. Which side has the best chance of standing up in court?
Well, we'll see, as they say. And it's very difficult to predict, but what you have here is pretty much a crisis situation. You have something that has not really happened before in Florida's political history. You have the collapse of a major condo. How do you respond to that? We don't know because we haven't done it before. So you're starting from the ground up, so to speak, putting in the ground rules, because you have to deal with a lot of issues. You've got now new standards for building new condominiums that are going into effect because of that collapse. You've got skyrocketing insurance rates because of the collapse, and it's much more expensive for condo owners to get insurance. And you've got millions of dollars in repairs because part of the new laws that have gone into effect is you must have these inspections on a periodic basis, depending on the age of your condominium. And if there are problems, you need to put in money to make those repairs, and those repairs have to be fixed within a reasonable time period, whatever that means. So there are a lot of unknowns here. But all of this adds up to, is condo living really worth it? And that's a decision that only individual condo owners can make. And this is how the market is responding now. You're seeing a lot of people sort of in a panic situation where they're saying,
because this does affect so many people across the board, whether you are retired on a fixed income or you are a young family who's trying to get into a neighborhood but cannot afford the rising home prices. It just seems like this is an issue that our legislators should get involved in because it affects so many millions of our residents in the state of Florida.
Well, I think they will, and I think it's one of those things where, once again, it's a new situation, so they'll respond to it, but it's going to be phased in terms of how those changes are going to come into effect, because they want to see sort of the modest proposals that they're putting into effect at the beginning, how they're going to work. Is that going to handle the situation, or do we need to go to a much more drastic approach in terms of what we require condo owners to do so that they're not going to be burned further down the line? And a lot of people love condo living. They love what it brings to them. But they are reevaluating to say, is this really worth it? Do I want to bear now the new costs that we're seeing to live in a condo situation? And that's the development that everyone is facing that either lives in a condo or wants to live in a condo.